do you have any update on Willy Adames? It looked like he was in pain after the strike three swing.
I mean, he was having back spasms prior to that. So it was an accumulation effect. I don't think it was just about that at bat. Clearly it made it worse. And he was kind of going as deep into the game as he could. Kind of like Susak's deal. Surprised he made it that far, but got to a point where it wasn't going to work there. So he's back there, left those guys alone. But back spasms is what caused that.
The more two-seamer from Robbie today, what has that unlocked for him, and what's the connection to his run of success, specifically integrating that pitch lately?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a combination factor there, but I also think it's, Robbie is Robbie. If you look at his track record, he's fully capable of doing what he did at the beginning of the year. Maybe a couple outings there where it didn't go great for him, and kind of back to, Roop's kind of been on a similar path as well. So there's definitely a correlation. I think one time was asked about it in here after a successful outing for him, just talked about, to me, it's a bigger surface area. Guys have been fouling off fastballs so often. I think it's a different look to the fastball, and now instead of a bunch of foul balls, you're getting some induced contact early in at-bats, and that to me it's a different pitch, and it's different, sequences for the other hitter and all that stuff. But I think it's led to more early contact and at-bats, shorter at-bats, him getting deeper into games.
Is it bittersweet at all watching this success, knowing that he's one of your likeliest candidates to be traded in about 6 weeks?
No, I don't see that. There's been no talk of that. I'm aware of it. I've had to do it a couple different times to remind myself how old guys are, what their contract situation is, and things like that. So, no, I'm excited. I think it's a cautious feeling of wanting. You got to be cautious about having the feeling of wanting to go on this magic run of 4 wins in a row or 8 wins in a row and things like that, and just keep playing good baseball. And there's been games where you wish you had a dry erase board, you could make it go away. But for the most part, there's been a good chunk of time when the guys have been playing for that duration. Guys have been playing good ball. We just are looking for that deal where the position players and the pitchers are in sync. We just play good ball. If we do that with guys like Robbie Ray, we'll be in a good spot percentage-wise.
Tony, speaking of in sync, you got great performances last night from Logan Webb, today from Robbie Ray. Talking about your pitching, finishing up this homestand, heading out on another trip. What did today's performance mean?
Yeah, I thought you were going to talk about NSYNC, the band, there for a second. But, yeah, we'll do that later. Hey, it's a personal tangent, but, Sale, I've seen that guy on TV do incredible things. I know guys that have played with him, so there's no way you could downgrade who he is or how deceptive it is and good like that. But I think one key to us, going on a more successful run is just unlocking the mentality. It's like sale is the talk last night in the locker room, and mainly in the coach's locker room too. But it's like we have Robbie Ray, and Webby and him are, I guess you could say 1A, 1B, right-handed, left-handed. I think they showed you what they could do, and what it meant was a series win because we kind of climbed on their back. I know Rafi did what he did offensively last night. But it was huge, and it should give you confidence going forward too, knowing what those guys can do.
Tony, Chappie had a couple hits today from the leadoff spot. What do you like about using him as the leadoff hitter?
I think first thing is he does, bouncing around doesn't bother him much. If I was in his shoes, it might do it to me, but I don't think it bothers him much if one day he's here, another day he's there. The other thing is he's been pretty good about probably our best guy very early in the year, accumulating walks. At the very least putting together lengthy at-bats. Gives you a little bit of experience. When you are seeing a guy that's deceptive, it's a tough go for a guy like Cox or Barracuda seeing that arm slot for the first time, but Chappie has seen about everybody in the league. So I think there's a lot to like there, and he helps balance things out a little bit. We're very blessed with, if you include Bryce, 4 of the best left-handed hitters in the league. But you got to balance things out a little bit for the most part.
You mentioned how tough Sale can be. Just what was it like to watch that 6th-inning rally unfold with all the infield singles and the errors and things like that?
Yeah, it was impressive. Part of the battle is just putting the ball in play. The guy's got as good a swing and miss stuff as most in the starter role. And one thing you have to do because of the angle he's throwing from, especially for lefties, but even the righties with some of the rep trials, you got to stay to the ball. I don't think if you're a fearful hitter, you're probably not in the big leagues, but there is still some element of fear and not staying to the ball as long as you need to because of different things guys can do. So it's just good to see guys grind out at bats, and you need to be able to win a bunch of different ways. And today, obviously, in the defensive side, with Robbie involved, it's got that storyline. But on the offensive side, it was a win that we haven't had many of these where you just kind of grind out at bats and, wear down the starting pitcher as best as you can. I think we did it the other day with Gage Jump, but we didn't have anything to show for it. Today we did, fortunately.
Tony, obviously Casey was scratched. Did you want to hold him back? I mean, obviously when Willie gets hurt, your hands are kind of tied, but did you want to give him a day? How'd that play out?
Yeah, it wasn't. It got worse as the day went on. I mean, he had a viral illness, and going into the cage and telling him he was a shortstop it was like waking a drunk guy up for a job interview. He didn't look good. So probably not appropriate to say, but at the very least, we got a strike from the record, that miscue in the ninth. I mean, he did make a play, and then the next one was not an easy one. A healthy Casey Schmidt makes that play, but if you were watching him, the body language was he was hurting. So we've had some valiant effort from some guys. At the very least, something for Giants fans to rally around is, the starting pitching, but we've had a few guys absolutely battle through some stuff to be out there and give us what they can that day.
Yeah, and then, in keeping with that first winning homestand since April, what does that mean to the group?
I think to do it against a club that's as good as Atlanta adds a little bit extra to it. It makes it a happy flight. That can change a lot of things in your world, especially just the flight and the travel itself. But I think it gives us momentum. I think it gives us momentum for sure. And again, I think something these guys want to do is just keep talking about the facts. We've played a lot better baseball in recent history, but we need to find different ways to win games and stack some wins.
It seems like that's the way it goes. We talked about being thin on infielders after you subtract one this morning, and now you got Willie, you've got Schmidt. I mean, are you guys going to have to make a move to have some more coverage at shortstop? And Koss, I guess, has played 4 or 5 games in the complex league. Could he be a candidate?
I think he'd be a candidate because of, defensively, probably offensively, he's not going to be in the position he would want to be or that we would want him in. But I think defensively, he could just using a cliche, he could wake up out of bed and be ready to rock and roll defensively, any of those 3 spots. So it's a possibility. I think the biggest thing is to work through what Willie's got going on and see where he's at. I'm hopeful this is kind of a short-term thing for Casey. It's been a little bit of a bug deal, kind of passing from guy to guy. Some of them you know about, some of them you don't. So hopefully he's good, but I think both those things kind of spur on a conversation.